Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen today. I am Ricky with Once a Month Meals. We are cooking today, you guys. We are going to be doing some freezer cooking. Today we are making our real foods, make one, freeze one. So if you're not a fan of processed foods and you're trying to switch to a more real whole foods diet, this is definitely for you today. So we're actually going to be doing 3 recipes and I'm going to kind of walk you through that. Now, the purpose of our make one, freeze one menus are for those of you who are beginning freezer cooking. Maybe you don't have any experience, maybe you just have a little, but this is just kind of tiptoeing into freezer cooking. And so we're going to show you kind of what that looks like. Again, I'm Ricky, and Once a Month Meals is a freezer cooking company. We utilize freezer cooking for meal planning. And again, that's what this menu is all about, is just teaching you how to do that. So the first recipe that I'm starting with today is going to be the buffalo chicken sliders. Now, you guys, if you've been with me before, you know that this is a family favorite. Here I have the frozen portion. I've already done this recipe, actually. It takes a little time. It's cooked on top of the stove, so it takes a little bit more time. But there you can kind of see the finished product. So the way that these make one, freeze one menus work are that I would take one recipe, make it for tonight, let's say. So tonight I would make the buffalo chicken sliders. Now I set my servings at 2. You can choose 2, 4, or 6. You do not have to be a member of Once a Month Meals to get these. You can just go onto our site. We'll have the link in the comments. And you can go ahead and choose. We have lots of dietary categories. So maybe real food's not your thing. You just want traditional. Well, we have that too. We also have diabetes friendly, keto, paleo, all kinds of dietary choices, you guys. You can just go over and check that out. But so what I would do is I would make this entire recipe, and then I'm going to eat half of that portion. I just set my servings to 2 for today. Half of that portion would be eaten tonight for dinner, and the other half, again, I'm going to save, and I'm going to put in the freezer for a night when time is really short and I need a quick dinner. I have one all ready to go. So yeah, I wanted to tell you guys about that. Also, hey, if you're just joining us now, go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments. I love to get to know our viewers. So tell me your name and where you're joining us from. Also, if this is your first time. Now, if you're on Facebook, you'll know that we're live by the little red tab in the corner that says live. If you're watching this on a replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. That's, again, if you're joining us on Facebook. We're trying some new technology. We're also streaming live to YouTube. So hello to those who are joining us on YouTube for maybe the first time. We're so glad that you're with us too. Okay, so I've done our first recipe. That would be done again tonight on Wednesday night. Now on Thursday, here I'm going to make the green chili fiesta chicken bake. Doesn't that sound delicious? So what Once a Month Meals does is, one of the things is we do all of your math for you, because we know it's not fun when you have a base recipe and then you're like, but my family is bigger, or I'm cooking this for 4 people. So we do all the math for you. So again, all I've done is set my servings to 2, and then it automatically doubles everything for me, so that my directions in my recipe, as well as my shopping list, all of that stuff is done for me. I don't have to think about how much. So my directions tell me to preheat my oven to 375, which I've already done. And then it tells me to divide my chicken into indicated number of baking pans. Now this says 2 8x8 baking pans, but I'm going to actually go ahead and just put it all in one. And then, because that's just what I have on hand, right? And so we know that, like, hey, we're giving you directions in the menu here, I'm sorry, in the recipe here. But if you have something a little different that works for you, you can do that. You can make some of these small changes, and I'll talk about some of them as I go. So it looks like Elizabeth is joining us today. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you doing? I think I talked to Elizabeth last week. That's one of the perks of being a member of Once a Month Meals, is that you can have private consultation with our staff members. Let's see, Robin, hello from Central Illinois, been a member free and paid for years, current member. So glad to have you, Robin. So glad you're joining us today. So let us know if you guys have tried any of these recipes that we're making today, or if maybe you're gonna try it too. So now that I have put my chicken into the container, into the pan, it says to mix the cream cheese, corn, green chilies, sour cream, Monterey Jack cheese together in a bowl. So I'm going to get started on that now. And it tells me exactly how much of all of those things I need. So I'm going to cut my block of cream cheese here because I have 8 ounces and I only need 4. So I'm just going to cut this in half. Who else is joining us today? And are you guys into real foods? Is that why you're joining us? Now, maybe you're not into real foods, but you know somebody else who's getting started on a real foods diet. If that's true, make sure you share this video with them. You can tag them in the comments, or you can just share it to your page and your friends will see it. Jackie from Tampa, Florida. Oh, I'm so jealous. Jackie, I'm here in Ohio. It's getting colder, but a member since July 2017. I'm so excited. We have a lot of long-term members here today. All right, so I've got that. Now I need my 1/4 of a cup of sour cream. So I'm just going to get that out and mix that in. Perfect. Corn. Now this is about 1/2 of a can of corn I've got going there. The green chilies. Oh, here they are. Now, you guys, I don't know about you, but I love green chilies with like any kind of chicken bake that has like cream cheese and green chilies. I love it, and my kids love it too. But one of the really nice things about green chilies is it's the flavor kind of a jalapeno, but without that spice. So you get the flavor, but without the heat, right? And then I'm supposed to put, it says the Monterey Jack cheese #1, and it's listed as 3/4 of a cup on my directions is the #1. Because the #2, we're also going to lay some on top because you can't have enough. You can't have too much cheese, right? All right. And then I'm just going to mix all of these things together here. Now my directions, directions for prep indicated that I go ahead and soften my cream cheese. I also needed to chop up some of my cilantro, which I'm going to use in just a minute. So I had already done that part of it because my prep directions indicated that for me. So I knew that I needed to get that done. What else is going on, you guys? Anybody else joining us? Or what are you guys up to? What are you eating? Are you freezer cooking? We're getting into the fall season now. And I know that for my family, not only is it a really busy season, but also it's a season that I like to have lots of things in the freezer, holiday get-togethers, things like that starting to come up, or they will be soon if they haven't already started. And it's so nice to have, especially like soups and things like that, just really easy stuff in my freezer that are ready to go. All right, now this is pretty well mixed. Now I'm just going to layer this on top, kind of spread it over top of my chicken. And I will show this to you guys once I am done with it so you can kind of see what this looks like. It smells delicious. Let's see, Deb from Michigan, starting a clean eating diet. Congratulations, Deb. That's awesome. That's, yes, definitely one of the things I love about once a month meals is it does make making some of those dietary changes a little bit easier for us because it just kind of does all the work in terms of all the thinking for you. All right. And then we have Mary from Alabama. How you doing, Mary? What's going on in Alabama today? Okay. So now it tells me that I'm supposed to put the second layer of the Monterey Jack cheese over top along with the cilantro. Now, it also lists green onions, but if you've been with me before, you know that my family has an allergy to onions as well as garlic. So whenever a recipe calls for that, I just omit it. You can sub it out if you want to do that. I just leave it out, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put this second bit of Monterey Jack cheese over top, and I'm just going to sprinkle it, right? Oh, it looks delicious, you guys. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of cilantro on here. Actually, a lot of cilantro because I really like cilantro. I don't know. Some people aren't a fan. And if you're not a fan, totally customize it. Just don't use it. Not a problem. And I don't know if you guys can see really well there, but it looks heavenly. And I know that My family is going to love this. So my directions indicate that I'm supposed to cook this for 35 to 45 minutes. And then I'm going to let it cool. Right. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And this would be Thursday night's dinner. So I made the buffalo chicken sliders for tonight, saved half for another night when I'm short on time. This would be Thursday's dinner. I would make this Thursday evening. We would eat half that evening. And then the other half we would save for, again, a night when we don't have a lot of time and we need a quick meal. It will already be fully cooked. All I'll have to do is thaw and reheat. Easy peasy, you guys. Okay, I'm going to move some of this over back here because we're getting ready to move on to our next recipe, you guys. We're already on to Friday's meal. Kara says, I'm finishing up my freezer stock of prepped meals, but I'm shopping my freezer and pantry to get a menu together. Great idea. Also, one of the things that I love about once a month meals is that we can shop what we have in our home and find the recipes that will work for us for stuff we already have. All right, now you guys, this recipe is the paleo beef stew ready to eat dinner, meaning I'm going to cook it all. So I would start this maybe Friday morning, Friday afternoon, cook it, eat half that evening for dinner. And then the other half, again, I'm going to save for a night when time is short. So this just tells me to put everything together, all the ingredients together in my slow cooker. I mean, you can't get any easier than that. So I have stew meat here. You can purchase it uncut if you want. Sometimes that's a little bit more economical. I'm all about saving time here. So I went for the pre-cut stew meat. And then it also calls, I have already cut and measured out my celery and my carrots. So I'm just going to put those in there. And then it calls for a bay leaf, which I'm going to put that in there as well. Let's see, it calls for, let's do I'm going to do the tomato paste first. Now, tomato paste is really good because it's going to act kind of as your thickener in this stew. Because again, this is paleo, so it's not utilizing any gluten or anything like that, no flour. Let's see, how much of the tomato paste? 3 1/3 tablespoons, perfect. Now, typically, if I'm just doing this, I would eyeball 3 1/3 because I do a fair amount of cooking, so I can kind of tell what a tablespoon is. But for the sake of today, I'm going to go ahead and measure it out for you guys. Beef stew is just one of those really good recipes, you guys, that is perfect for October. I love it because and my husband loves it too, because it's kind of a heartier. I love soup. I would eat soup. I actually do eat soup at least probably once a day for lunch. But my husband he needs something a little bit more filling. Soup to him, soup or salad is not really a meal to him, I would say. And so he likes something a little bit more hearty. So this kind of meets in the middle for both of us. Let's see. And then I am going to go ahead and put in 1 1/3 cups of my beef broth. And again, if you have homemade bone broth, beef bone broth, even better, you guys. I didn't happen to have any. Sometimes I do have some around, but I didn't happen to have any right now. So I just purchased some broth. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding my spices. It does call for a little bit of apple cider vinegar, 1 1/3 tablespoon. There we are. Perfect. Now, I don't know if you're used to using apple cider vinegar. It does help take especially some of the sweetness of this tomato paste can get a little tart occasionally, so it will back that off of a little bit. And then I just have a little bit of sea salt and some pepper here. Again, customize that as you like. If you're not a fan of pepper, hey, you don't have to add it. And then, oops. It also asks me to put in some peas. Now, this also calls for garlic, again, and onions. again, which I will not put in because of the allergy in my family, but it calls for peas, and it calls for 1/3 of a cup. Because I'm not putting the onions in, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of the peas to kind of fill this up a little bit, since I don't have the onions kind of bulking up my stew there. And then it also calls for some parsley and some thyme, which I've already measured out and I've already chopped. But I wanted to show you guys really quick. I don't know if you're used to using fresh thyme, but we're getting around the time of year that it's going to be very popular. A lot of people are going to be using it because it's great with poultry. So super easy to use. Don't be hesitant about any fresh herbs, you guys, because they are wonderful. They really liven up a dish, and they're so super easy. So you can see I have a fresh thyme sprig here. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go backwards off of it to take these little leaves off. So you can see as I kind of go down, oops, some of them are coming off a little easy. There we go. See how easy that was? I just stripped that whole little thing there, and then I'm just going to sprinkle this in. Thyme is just so good, you guys. It's so like lemony. I can smell it. So it goes really great with like chicken too, but it's also going to be delicious in this stew. And then I'm just going to give this a good quick stir. And then my recipe indicates that I'm supposed to cook this on low for 6 hours. Then I'm going to take out the bay leaf, and I'm just going to serve, again, a portion Friday night. And then I'm going to serve the other half, let it cool completely, because remember, we don't want freezer burn. And that's how we get freezer burn very easily, is if we don't allow things to cool completely before we put it in the freezer. So that other portion I'm going to allow to cool completely, and then I'm going to put it in my freezer bag, tuck it away for a night when I don't have a lot of time. See how easy that is, you guys? You can do this. I'm so excited for you, especially because, again, we're heading into that busy season. We're all going to be ordering off Amazon Prime, right? I know I am. I've already begun. We're going to be ordering off Amazon Prime, and we're not going to have extra time to be cooking up big family meals. But this way you don't have to worry about it because it's already done for you. You guys, I'm so glad that you joined us today. Again, if you are coming on later and watching, leave your questions in the comments, because I will be glad to go back and answer those for you. And don't forget to join us here again next Wednesday. We'll be doing another one of these make one, freeze one menus. And we would love for you to join us and see what we're making then. So have a great day, guys. Thanks for joining us.